Hey guys, how's it going? It's Blaze, back with some more One Piece TCG content for you all. I know I was a little bit late on this video, but things are a little bit hectic for me with work because we actually were prepping the launch of our demo for the indie game that I've been working on for the past couple of years, which you can actually go onto Steam and download and check out right now. Any downloads, reviews of the demo, and wish lists help us out a ton, so I'd really encourage anybody who's a fan of this kind of turn-based RPG or dungeon crawlers to go and give it a look. It's called Descent of Lunaris. It's inspired by a lot of 80s and 90s dungeon crawlers, particularly games like Shin Megami Tensei and Wizardry. So if you like the footage that I'm editing in here now from the trailer, go check that out. All the music that you're hearing right now, as well as the entire game OST, was also created by myself, so I'm quite proud of it. I would love to hear what y'all think. There will be a link in the description of this video for our Steam page if you want to go give it a try. As always, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below. You will be entered in my giveaway for a chance to win this OP13 Ace, Sabo, and Luffy alternate art. So go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're seeing in the market this week. Starting off, I would like to go ahead and look at the EBO3 set, just see where we're at on that, because I know things have continued to move here. Obviously, some things like this Uta manga, this has continued to move down. We're approaching sub 1K here. We haven't hit it yet. We're hanging out right above $1,000 at like 1K50 and seeing, haven't been any sales that low yet, but I'm sure that it will happen very soon. I think this card will probably end up below $1,000, so I think people are kind of waiting on that. The Nami SP still holding around 1,200, a little under 1,200 for near mint foil. Not too much movement on that one. Pretty similar for the Nico Robin here, hanging out a little bit under 1,100 for near mint foil. A little bit less than Nami, but not by much. And then the Boa is a little under 1,000, around the 900 range, which is, I believe somebody asked me where I thought it would settle in the comments a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago, and that was about what my prediction would be. The VV is doing all right, hanging out around 450. And then we kind of go down the line here. You sort of know what to expect with these. My internet has been weird today. It might be a little slow, but like 300 for the Reiju. And then, yeah, we pretty much go down the line here about as you would expect. These cards settling in around the $200 to $300 range for the rest of the SPs. Obviously, the Nami alt art still holding pretty strong at like 130, and the Robin alt art, you know, hanging out a little under 100, a little under 90, around the 85 range for this one. So not a ton of dramatic movement on EBO3, but it's kind of shaping up about how I expected it to be honest. Now, taking a quick look at the pre-sale prices on OP15, we are seeing boxes for OP15 / EBO4 going for about $230 on pre-sale, which is, I guess, fairly in line with kind of what we saw on OP14. So not too surprising, still a bit high, but pretty much in kind of the range of what we sort of expected to see. Cases going for about a little under $3,000, about $2,700, which is quite a lot for pre-sale on a case. I mean, used to be cases were pretty much always going to be under 2K, but I think we're just not going back to that world where you can get a pre-sale case that cheap anymore. So we're going to probably consistently see them over $2,000 for now. Going back to looking at some of the OP14 singles, seeing where we've ended up on some of this stuff now that it's really settled a lot more. The buggy gold SP has gone down to about 1,700, little under 1,800, 1,750 or so. We're seeing sales. Wow, actually, somebody just bought one for 1,500. So, this one's gone down a lot from. We were seeing it sell for like 3,000 in January. So this one's lost, almost half of its value if you compare it to what the highs were on it. And then the silver SP, we're seeing a little under 900, like 870-ish, 850. So, again, also down quite a bit from its peak. Same deal with the Mihawk manga here. This thing, honestly, it's surprising to me how much this has fallen and continues to fall to the point where we're now under $800 for a near mint copy. And people are still holding off on buying them because it seems like people expect it to fall even lower, where we're seeing last sales at $850 a couple of weeks ago, over 10 days ago now. So people are just kind of letting this thing free fall, which is really wild to see. I mean, I think this is one of the worst crashes we've seen on a manga. Zoro SP down to around 900. This thing's holding more value than most of the other cards in the set. This particular SP seems to, be doing pretty well overall compared to a lot of other cards, but I mean, it's still definitely losing value. So, is this the bottom of what this stuff's going to get to, or will it go even lower? We're seeing the Boa SP all the way down to 600. This is less surprising to me. Wow, somebody actually got one for 520. That's crazy. What condition was this in? It says near mint. I mean, yeah, condition. This looks good. I mean, this looks very gradable. So yeah, letting that go for 520 seems pretty crazy. I don't really know how we ended up there. And then yeah, the rest of these SPs continuing to go down. Some stuff like the Ground Death holding on pretty decently. But yeah, I mean, really, really hard decline for pretty much everything OP14 related. Popping over to OP13, obviously we're going to see, the really top end ultra rare stuff like the red mangas holding their value here. The Luffy manga holding its value here. But we go a little bit lower and we are seeing stuff like the Gold Shanks, is gone down to like about 1,500 here, which I think is lower than the previous near mint sale. Yeah, it was previously selling around 2K, so this is dipping a little bit. The Ace here, I believe, has also dipped a little bit. Yeah, last sale at 1,500, now down to 900 for near mint foil, lowest listed. Very, very significant drop there. The silver Shanks also going for, significantly lower than its most recent sold, down to about 875 here. The Sabo, this one really hurts me because I overpaid for this card like quite a bit. We're down to like $800 for this. So we've got, last sold 900. High sales previously were, closer to like 1,000. This is closer to like what I paid for it. So this is dropped pretty harshly. But OP13, I mean, I feel like we're seeing a lot of fear around the reprints with this still. I do kind of suspect that we will start to see this bouncing back once that happens. Obviously, we still have, a decent amount of value being retained in like the Luffy SP, although it is significantly down. It's down around $400 here. We do have a lot of value retention still in the God Pack SPs, or Demon Pack SPs, I suppose. Around 500 each. So you're still looking at, you know, if you were to pull the demon pack, right, that's still like around $2,500 ish total ungraded raw value, which I believe is down from the highs for sure. Yeah, so back in January when things were at the peak, these were going for around 800 each as far as highest sold goes. So we're definitely not there anymore. Definitely still like within the range of these top cards as far as retained value goes. You go below that and you're seeing like, you know, like for example, this Ace SP, I mean, this thing's all the way down to around like 160. There's a lot of dips on all of these. These Luffy cards were, you know, really expensive before. These wanted poster cards are really expensive before. Some stuff like the manga event Divine Departure here, still doing quite well though. I mean, this is holding at like 150, pretty solid. It hasn't really gone down too much from what the previous high sale price was. In fact, it's actually continuing to climb. So this is interesting, something where the event cards continuing to do quite well. Maybe something to keep in mind. You know, as far as patterns go, I do think these manga event cards are continuing to really show that they're holding a lot of value. Some of the only cards that are, in many cases, still gaining in value currently. Looking at just the overall spread, obviously we're still seeing, you know, like the Gear 2's come down a lot. The Shanks has come down quite a bit. Some cards like the Zoro have come down a little bit, but are definitely still like holding a lot of value. Just anything from these kind of earlier sets, like these Block 2 sets, seem to be doing quite well. Which does go to show, you know, someday a lot of these current manga cards that are dipping right now are going to be from earlier sets. We are still in the pre-global simultaneous release era, right? So after we get to that era, after we get to the global simultaneous release where everything's coming out between us and Japan at the same time, that's kind of like, you know, that's going to be, everything before that is kind of going to be seen in a different light than the stuff that comes after that. Obviously, we're still seeing a lot of value retained on, if you click on like pretty much any of these, you know, Treasure Cup or winner cards or regional top cards, these are all still going to be holding a lot of value because, you know, they're just these are like not actually this card, but you're gonna see a lot of these because these are just inherently like actually very, very rare. So, you know, again, these cards aren't going to be as affected by the market dipping as like a lot of other stuff is. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely still in an overall downtrend. I like don't see a lot of this stuff going too much lower though. Some of these mangas, like the manga laws, it seems like 800 is like about as low as any of these manga cards will go. I don't really see them dipping much below that, except, you know, maybe something like the Rayleigh that's like really not very desired. The Usopp manga still at like 1200. I don't know why people hate on that manga. That thing's awesome. But yeah, I mean, so some of the EB02 stuff dipping a little bit. Like that was over a K not that long ago. Some of the SPs definitely, you know, dipping a little bit. Even on something like one of these Boa Hancock cards that has, you know, traditionally been holding a lot of its value. Near mint's dipping down to, you know, below 900 now. So earlier it was really retaining it. Again, though, you know, the manga events really holding and continuing to go up in many cases. So near mint foil for this Gum Gum Giant still up above 700, approaching $800 there. Popping over to eBay, this is something kind of crazy. We saw one of these OP13 Sabo mangas actually sold for $575 at auction. So this is kind of an outlier. This is something that I haven't really seen anywhere else. But and this is in English. It's an English card. Somebody just got really lucky on this auction. I believe this was a Probstein auction too. If we go to the original listing, yeah, this was a Probstein auction here. Pretty wild to see. We also saw the You'll Frighten Me manga alternate art event all the way down at 162. Pretty crazy. And then we also saw a Jewelry Bonnie manga alternate art card here, sold on eBay at only 3 bids, getting it up to 535. Now, this is kind of an interesting case because this is coming from a seller account that only has sold 1 previous item, so they are just potentially selling for a lot less because, you know, there's not that trust built up there. But just wanted to show, like, some of these eBay auctions, people are sniping some of these cards for really, really low prices. I know I said, you know, the floor on mangas are looking like around 800 for most of them, for the ones that are, you know, considered more desirable at least. But yeah, you can find exceptions to that if you go to eBay. On some of these auctions, people are getting pretty insane deals and people are sniping cards for very, very low prices. Let's switch over to sealed here for a minute and take a look at some box prices. So Romance Dawn boosters, white bottoms continuing to rise up to around $1,800 here now. No real surprises there, you know. These are always going to be some of the most coveted. And blue bottoms actually, you know, having taken a little bit of a dip here down to, we've seen a recent sale at $5,000 here. This is actually kind of surprising. Because these have been holding their value at above 6K for so long here that seeing people letting them go for under that by, you know, over $1,000 under that is not something I really expected to see, to be honest. Obviously, we got to check in on good old OP05, also taking a pretty significant dip. You know, we were at around $1,100 here, now down to a little bit under 1,000. So sealed, I mean, we're holding value, but this value is taking a slight hit. We are starting to see sealed prices taking a bit of a dip here. We're seeing that on OP05. Now we go over to EB01. This is also taking a very slight hit down. I think it's down like $20 from the last time we looked at it at, you know, like 800. Well, not even. It's down like $12. It was $850, now $838. Not super significant there, but you know, it is just interesting to see that that the sealed is getting hit much at all. OP03 surprisingly not taking a hit. This is one that I really see as being, you know, kind of overpriced compared to a lot of the other Block 1 sets. You know, definitely not a set that's anywhere close to being on par with something like OP09. OP09 down to around 600. You know, I don't think this is like a huge hit from where it was at. I mean, obviously it was up to in the 700s in January, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like OP09 still has room to go, you know, if you compare it to some of these other sets. It's kind of interesting to see how much of a dip it's taken because, you know, there's no plans to reprint that set, so at least that I'm aware of. OP04 in an interesting place. It shot up to around 560, now down to like 520. I think this is, you know, it makes sense for this to be around 500, maybe a little under 500, given the overall context. OP04 not being like a particularly sought after set, to be honest. OP05, obviously having taken a, you know, this massive hit here, and now creeping back up, we are seeing prices go up on this. I think, you know, everybody's buying OP05 right now because I think everybody knows, you know, a year or two into the future, this set is going to be still one of the most in-demand sets, still one of the most sought after. The reprint is not going to change that fact, right? It's being reprinted because it's so in demand. OP02 around 500, hasn't changed too much from last time we looked at it. EB02 still continuing to dip down a little bit. This to me, you know, I think this set is probably pretty undervalued right now. I think the Gear 2 has taken a really significant dip, so, you know, that was one of the main things that was propelling the price of this box. But look, guys, We all know that that card is going to be worth a lot in the long run, and this box is going to be, you know, worth a lot in the long run. Yeah, I think this might be a pretty good time to get some EBO2 if you're interested in it. I think that's one of those things that may have corrected a little too aggressively, and we're going to probably see those numbers change pretty significantly in the future. OP11 down to a little under 400. That hasn't really changed much since the last time we looked. PRB, again, still dipping a little bit. I think this is in a pretty good place, you know, if you were interested in getting some PRB too. EBO3 really free falling more than I even expected to. We're below 300 per box on EBO3 here. I feel like this might not be a bad time to pick up some EBO3. I mean, this is still a set with SPs that are going to be, you know, highly sought after in the future. It's still an EB set. I don't know. I think as a long-term product, now that we're like below 300, I feel like this is probably pretty safe. I mean, you know, the top few cards are worth a lot more than that box. It's not that hard to make your money back on that box compared to, like, you know, not saying like statistically you will make your money back, but like when you compare it relatively to something like, for example, something like OP05, OP13, I mean, your chances of actually, it's one of those things where when you hit really big, but the chances on hitting that big are very, very low. If you think about, you know, a set like EBO3, where you've got these 4-hit SP boxes, right? You know, pretty much any SP box hit at 300, not necessarily the very low ones, like not the Tashigi or the Koala necessarily, but like anything above that, like if you hit those, you're coming up off the box, which is actually kind of better odds, even though, you know, it's what, 2 SP boxes in a case, making it, you know, a 1 in 6 chance. But I mean, that's still like better than a lot of these other things. Like, look at a set like OP13. I mean, none of the SPs are worth more than the box that they come in, right? So, like, unless you hit mangas, you are not coming up off those boxes. It's all in the mangas, which are, you know, less than a 1 per case hit. So you're talking more like 1 out of 30-ish chances, right? Versus 1 out of 6. I mean, if you think about those odds overall, and you think about the fact that EBO3 is crashed down to probably as low as it's gonna get right now, or maybe it'll get a little lower when the reprint happens. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a terrible set necessarily. All right, well, anyway, that's about where we're at right now. It looks like we may be kind of bottoming out and seeing some amount of rebounding in certain sets, while other sets are continuing to crash. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. You know, where do you all see the market going when OP15 comes out? And what are you thinking about, you know, just the general state of things in the game? Are you enjoying the Netflix season 2 of the live action? And are you looking forward to the new anime art coming out soon? Appreciate all y'all, and till next time, peace.